Hi guys, welcome back to a Higurashi manga review. We're looking at Tsumihoroboshi today. Now, this chapter, easily my favourite one out of all of the visual novel chapters. It's got some really powerful scenes, and obviously some of the most powerful scenes in the series. I mean, I think the best example of that is definitely when you have Keiichi just fully remembering Onikakushi and obviously pledging his life to save Rena. But yeah, you also have the mystery as well, and if you ask me, probably the point at which the mystery is best. And also, it's really interesting on a reread to not only see just how everything kind of has a parallel, well, how the solution and what's being presented in the mystery in Tsumihoroboshi kind of compare, and it's also interesting to think about what Takano may have intended here as well when she gave the scrapbook to Rena. So yeah, I'll discuss that a bit because I've got some theories. But yeah, anyway, as an adaptation, I think this is really nice because, firstly, the length, it's really long, and it's the longest of any Higurashi adaptation that we've seen so far, which I think is a good thing because there are so many events in Tsumihoroboshi, and I'm just happy that all of them are covered. And it's not as if anything's really, I don't know, dumbed down or just skimmed over because of how many events there are, which I kind of got the impression the anime did. No, it's really nice, and I think the art style as well. Suzuragi Karin, really good manga artist. And I think especially in the last volume, oh my god, there were some things that were just amazing. So I think before we get into just analysing the volumes, I want to show you my favourite parts of just the manga taking advantage of the medium it is presented in. So look, this is where you finish the chapter. You see everything is really nice, and then you just turn the page and there is nothing, and then obviously there's Rika saying, oh yeah, it would be so nice if that was how the story really ended. And then also the part where Rena is really paranoid, and then she sees Rika, and then there's that jump scare as well, just of her face in the most sudden part. That was very entertaining as well. And yeah, really nice art style. Obviously, really good covers as well. Do you know, the Higurashi covers, I love that even though there are so many different artists who make the covers, they're just so classic. They're just really memorable, even though so they just all have a similar style, even though so many people have created covers for them, which is really nice. Anyway, so now let's get into just kind of analysing the volume. So yeah, firstly, volume 1, you see all of the stuff from, so it's from the water gun fight to the cliffhanger where Rena begins her murder of Teppei. So obviously it's kind of, well, so you have two parts of this story. You have the first part where a tragedy here, obviously Rena's absolutely awful home situation is kind of, its violence is used as a means of solving it. And then you have the next section of the story where obviously Keiichi tries to solve it with words rather than violence. And yeah, you see Rena's backstory here. You just see all of the really awful things that she's had to go through. And yeah, you also see quite a lot of stuff about how she connects with Keiichi as well, obviously something that's going to be really quite key. And Rina as well, you just get to re-experience all of those horrible feelings you have for her, because she is absolutely disgusting, and let's be honest, I think everybody probably hopes they will never meet a person like her. And yeah, it's funny that the story takes a dark turn really quite quickly. And yeah, for the second part of the volume, obviously, for the second volume, you have the really powerful scene where Keiichi. I mean, I'm sorry, but Keiichi and his friends, they could not have discovered Rena at a worse time, but at the same time, they couldn't have discovered her at a better time, because obviously it was awful that she had murdered people, but at the same time, it's good that she didn't go totally insane because she had their forgiveness. But obviously, Mion hid the bodies, and that then gave rise to a lot of Rena's paranoia in chapter 3. But yeah, it's just horrible to think about the fact that Rena has this situation. Obviously, she will never be the same. She has killed people. I mean, obviously, in the school incident, she did injure people in Ibaraki, but she never really murdered anybody. So she wasn't the same, and she was vulnerable. And I think Takano and the mountain dogs, well, not Takano, she wouldn't, but the mountain dogs, I think they were actually monitoring. Well, no, they weren't monitoring, but I just kind of get the impression that they knew about what happened to Rina and Tepe, because I feel like if they didn't, there wouldn't have been an opportunity for Takano to give Rena the text number 34. That's just kind of the impression I get. But yeah, you just see everything. So Rena's not the same, and but the point is, she could still live a life of happiness. But then Takano comes, they meet in the library, and the thing is, this is where, if you ask me, the mystery gets really cool, because you just see how well manipulation can happen, really, because if Rena saw all of this, like, I don't know, Keiichi, well, no, Keiichi kind of believed it at first, but Mion, for example, I mean, she saw all of this and she thought it was absolute ridiculous bullshit, but obviously because of her, like, really high level of Hinamizawa syndrome and experiencing really unpleasant sensations of things moving inside her skin, obviously, because this book kind of provided a possible explanation for it, it resonated with her, and that's what kind of let that book take control over her, and it completely manipulated her. And yeah, that's why everything became so deadly in the end. And yeah, that's probably why that book was so impactful. And I think Takano knew that. Well, she didn't exactly know what happened in Ibaraki, obviously, but I think she knew this was a possibility that could happen. And if I'm going to be honest, I just kind of get the impression that she just did it because she could. And maybe that could have been why she did it to Shion in 1982 as well. Who knows? Because she knew in 1982 that there would have been nothing to... Well, actually, to be fair, you could probably, if you believed in the supernatural, maybe you could think that Satoshi had Hinamizawa syndrome and there was no true culprit apart from, I don't know, everything that caused Hinamizawa syndrome. But obviously, there was nobody. So people who caused Hinamizawa syndrome, obviously, they kind of played a part in his death, but there was nobody who deliberately did it. Yeah, but that couldn't really have been found out. But yeah, anyway, the story really you just really get this false impression of hope when you see everybody uniting together, and Rena's also Rena gaining trust for her friends, which she didn't really have before because of everything that happened with Satoshi. And then you just see it crushed. And then obviously in the third volume, you see Rena just totally go from bad to worse. Because you just see all of these things that are very, very realistic. Actually, I can't remember if it was in the third volume or the second volume where you see the van. No, you do see... Oh, yeah. So you see... I think you see the van a bit in the second volume, but then you obviously see it more in the third volume. And it's interesting because the third volume, if you ask me, is just misunderstandings. The manga adaptation. There are so many misunderstandings that make it so that Rena has severe amounts of paranoia, and so many of them are really scary, but she doesn't really have the level-headedness to think about what the cause of it could be. She just kind of accepts the most deadly theory. And obviously, the scrapbooks have made her completely lose trust of her friends, which is ironic because it totally contrasts all of the messages that Katie tried to give her when at the trash yard, and when they were trying to solve the situation of her killing Rina and Tepe. Yeah, it's just total contradiction because of how paranoid she is. And yeah, it's just downward spiral into things that are getting so much worse. And yeah, there are so many things that are really quite interesting. And I love the misunderstandings on both parts, because you not only see the truth of what was happening, like for example the police trying to search for her, wait, hang on a second, they did it because I have this idea that they did it because she was in danger. They believed she was in danger. Well, no, I think it was because Oishi believed that she was in danger because she had the scrapbook and there was a potential bioterrorism plot that was happening. It's funny that Oishi actually believes some of that, but yeah, I mean, it's reasonable considering what he thinks the Sonozaki family are capable of. But yeah, it's just there's that. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with this, but anyway, what my point was is there's misunderstandings both ways. In Rena's direction, but also in everybody apart from Rena's direction. Like for example, Keiichi, when he sees the Okonoki's van, and he realizes, oh, it's a gardening company. Yeah, it doesn't exist, but it's a gardening company. Yeah. And yeah, it's really cool. Just the ending part as well. My God, I love how the ending's really, really dragged out. Obviously, Keiichi realizing everything that happens in Onikakushi, and I just think it's so funny if you think about this from the perspective of somebody who would actually be in the classroom while everybody is experiencing what Keiichi's going through. I mean, he just remembers a random dream, and then from that dream he swears to pledge his life, and obviously Rika realizes it's not a dream and that something absolutely impossible is happening, but of course nobody else would. I mean, could you imagine just remembering something random, like, or having a dream and not being able to tell whether that's something that has happened before, maybe in another life, I don't know if you believe in that sort of thing or not, and then just changing yourself completely. I mean, it's just ridiculous, but it's so cool, especially as somebody who has read Onikakushi and also seeing the answer to the stuff that happened there. Obviously, the answer to everything that Keiichi was feeling, rather than the answer to who the mountain dogs were. But yeah, you see that, and you see Rena, her perception of Hinamizawa being something that will be destroyed. And then you have the last volume, which is obviously the siege of the school, and then the demon script. And well, it's called the Devil's Script here, but it was called the Demon Script in the visual novel, and I just infinitely prefer calling it the Demon Script rather than the Devil's Script. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to call it. And if you've read Umineko, I don't know, I kind of only like calling something Devil's, like the Devil's Proof. That's the only, well, Akuma no Shome, but yeah, that's the only thing I kind of like calling something that is by the devil. Yeah, yeah, anyway. So we have the beginning of this volume, Oishi just realising the ridiculousness of the manual and obviously how damaged Rena is. And then you have the thrill of all of the horrible things that Rena is doing. And then you have Keiichi just miraculously stopping the timer at the last second. I mean, of course they had to do the last second cliche, but to be fair, I mean, here it does make stuff powerful. It's just, well, actually no, was it at the last second, or am I misremembering? No, okay, yeah. Yeah, look at this. It is actually at the last second. Yeah. Yeah, it was really fun, this. I think the battle at the end, I loved it in the visual novel so much. But if I'm going to be honest, that's just because it was dragged out so much. This was dragged out less, and it obviously got the key message in a shorter time frame. But at the same time, I just kind of preferred it when it was dragged out more. But yeah, I loved the ending especially because you can just see how everybody, even Mion, who was brutally bashed on the head by the like kind of the ending of the cleaver's handle, yeah, even her, and obviously held hostage, like even all of these people, even though Lennart is doing something so awful to them, they see her as a friend still, and they want her to go back to normal. And it's interesting, just Satoko thinking that she can't really view Lennart as a friend. I mean, obviously, it's obvious why, but yeah, and then Mion just totally... No, it was Rika, actually. Rika just totally making her kind of consider her own past and then linking it there. And it's just interesting that all of them, they until the end, they wish a good fortune with Lennart, really. And it's quite nice. And yeah, then we obviously have the ending. And what I love about the ending is just Keiichi really excels in obviously being the wordsmith, which obviously we'll see a lot of in Minagoroshi. And oh god, I'm excited for Minagoroshi. It's going to be so powerful. And yeah, anyway, what I was going to say is just Lennart goes from level 5 in Hinamizawa Syndrome. Well, nah, let's say like high level 4. I won't say level 5 because I don't know if I've got this right, but I'm under the impression that if you were on level 5, you were so crazy that your only instinct is to claw out your throat and die, like what Tomitake did on when he's drugged with H173. It's like that. But yeah. So I'll say very high level 4. You can go from that to, I don't know, like level 1 or 2 just in a bit of time, just because of how powerful Keiichi is. But the thing is, it's because they enjoy themselves and they have such a fun competition, and it is so engaging, and it's something you never would have thought happened. And let's be honest, then I would have never been able to have succeeded if it wasn't for Keiichi just being so persistent. But it's just so cool how she really remembers her old self, and she really comes to realise the meaninglessness of all of the things that she has been so worked up over. And I think it's just so cool how you just want there to be such a happy scenario, and you want the ending to be good. You really do, and you're just so tricked because you think everything is going to be okay after that, and they are going to be able to live a life without tragedy. Obviously, Lennart's going to have the burden of... Well, I think that's a bit ridiculous now that I think about it. Let's be honest, you cannot do something like this and not be sent to a psych ward. So, I mean, they probably will have, like, I don't know, 10 years separated from each other or something like that, but they still would be able to all be alive. But obviously, the gas disaster says no. Takano Mio says no. So, yeah. Yeah, it is really quite brutal just seeing all of everything that has been built up to so much just end meaninglessly. Well, sorry, meaninglessly. Without meaning. Yeah. And it was really nice listening to all of Higurashi's soundtracks with Tsumihoroboshi as well, because there are some very, very powerful ones there. And yeah, I'm actually very excited to do the same with Minagoroshi, because Minagoroshi has some... I think it might actually have the best soundtracks in the series. I'm especially looking forward to in that scene where everybody is... Well, killed with the nerve agent in the school where everybody's forced into it, just playing Requiem for the Disaster while reading that scene. It's going to be the fucking best experience. Yeah, Minagoroshi. I mean, the width of like my fingers and my thumb stretched to the maximum can barely hold these. I mean, it's ridiculous how long this manga is. I'm expecting this to take me a long time because at the moment I don't really have much time to read manga, honestly. I mean, I just do like what I currently do with manga is I read half an hour before school, and then in the weekend I read like an hour and a half to 2 hours, or maybe even 3. But yeah, so I'm expecting this to take me quite a long time. Same with Matsuri Bayashi. But yeah, it's going to be a really fun journey, honestly. And I forgot. So Momoyama Hinase. I don't know who. I don't know which other chapters this person drew. I forgot, actually. Oh, okay. Oh my god, this is actually going to be really cool. So on the wiki, apparently, they've only done Minagoroshi. And also, interestingly enough, they've done Umineko Dawn of the Golden Witch as well. Which I haven't actually read yet. But I have read Dawn of the Golden Witch. I meant in the manga form. But yeah, that's going to be a real experience. So anyway, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the Minagoroshi review.